If you're looking for scientific images for your presentations for class or for school, here are 8 sites with great images that are both free and worry-free from copyright issues. Now, I know the easiest thing is just to go to Google Images or your other favorite search engine site and look for the first thing that comes up. But when you're using images in a scientific presentation, you want them to be both high quality and accurate and have permission to use them. So these are the places that I like to go to look for those high quality images that you are completely allowed to use in your presentations. And none of these are built with AI. All right, starting off, Unsplash is probably one that you've heard of. There are plenty of high quality images on this site, and some of them are science and nature related. If you search for specific species or scientific phenomenon, you might come up short, but the way that I like to use Unsplash, especially for scientific images, is to find specific users or accounts that I know are going to have high quality images in their libraries. So if you find an image that you like, you can click on the profile of the person who uploaded it. Now, for all of these sites, it's going to be recommended but not required to credit the author, and you can always donate to a lot of these sites too if you want to support what they're doing. Here's some other uses of Unsplash. I love looking for natural environments because they have some very beautiful images there. So if you're talking about biomes, for example, or different ecosystems, you can see the contrast of different areas. Again, if you're talking about symbiosis, you could find specific organisms like these clownfish and sea anemones that could work for your presentation. Now, moving on to my second place, this is Pexels.com. Pexels has some beautiful resources, really nice high quality images and videos that you would expect to see as stock footage in professional presentations. I've found some beautiful micrographs or microscopic images from this site. So these are plant cells here, and Fayette Reynolds, this one user, has uploaded hundreds of different beautiful micrographs. So once you find, again, one image that you like, you can go to the user and find a whole bunch of others, hopefully within that same category or same type of image in the realm of things that you're looking for. Again, it may not be as useful to search specific scientific terms or scientific names here, but if you dig a little and you have the time to spare, this place can get you some beautiful image resources. Here's another one from Pexels. We have this really nice up-close shot of an insect on a flower. And I've also found some really good, realistic looking laboratories on Pexels too. I know a lot of these image sites are going to show kind of stock footagey or fake-ish kind of labs, and there's some of that on Pexels, but I've also found some really realistic looking labs. The This Is Engineering account on Pexels has some really good resources in all fields of engineering of people in their real workplaces. And look at here at this lab bench, we see real micropipetting, we see an actual lab bench with real tools instead of just food coloring in an Erlenmeyer flask like you might see on some other sites that are pretending to represent a laboratory. All right, Pixabay is another one. I go here for vector images very frequently. Now, there are some AI images on this site, but you can filter the search for only images that have been created by humans. So you can get the AI content out of your search if that's what you want. And these are just good as kind of clip arty or representations of other images. I've used these kind of images before when I'm creating slideshows with questions on them, or I just want a small representation of what I'm talking about. One of my favorite hidden gems of a tool, if you want highly specific and more accurate looking images, is the NIH BioArt database. This database is growing, is completely free to use, and has hundreds of beautiful images related to living things, to scientific phenomenon, to viruses, to equipment in the laboratory. And you can use this really for any purpose in your scientific presentations or posters that you're making. Here we have a really great looking adenovirus and then a PCR machine, which is kind of hard to find a good image of a PCR machine if you're looking just in a regular Google search. The next place that I often go to look for scientific images is Wikimedia Commons. And this is truly the mother lode of images that are under Creative Commons licenses. You can use in pretty much any circumstance as long as you use the correct attribution and you're not just selling the images, again, repurposing them to sell on your own. And that's usually the case for any of these free image sites. The terms and conditions say that you cannot just take the images and sell them as images alone on some other commercial site. But they are free to use in commercial videos or presentations, educational purposes, all of that. And you can also filter by usage restrictions. So you can look for things that have no restrictions or in the public domain, or images with Creative Commons 0 licenses. Of course, NASA is its own subset of image tools because most images that are created and hosted by NASA are going to be in the public domain as well. And so any image that you come across in a NASA database is often fair game. I have found on Wikimedia Commons and with NASA too, I am able to search for scientific terms and come up with things more related to what I'm actually searching for. So that is helpful. And of course, with Wikimedia Commons, you can go back and see which Wikipedia article article that the source is linked to, and you can always check the upload history and see where that image came from. Now, if you want something a little bit more artsy, but still within the public domain and fair to use, I love the Biodiversity Heritage Library. These are scans of thousands of works within the public domain that have natural drawings and representations of things that might be related to a scientific presentation of yours. I have found their search a little bit more difficult to use because it searches pages within these scanned books, but if you go to Google Images and you type in the term or species that you're looking for, and then you put the term Biodiversity Heritage Library next to that, you might be able to find things a little bit faster. Sometimes these will link to blog posts from the Biodiversity Heritage Library, sometimes they'll send you to other Flickr albums, but eventually you'll get back to the place where these pages are actually uploaded, and you can take images from these scanned texts pretty easily once you're there. Again, there's some really beautiful images here, and I encourage you just to explore it to see the kind of art that's represented in these old textbooks. Lastly, here's one that I came across in the research for this video, but BioIcons is another place where we have wonderful representations of molecules and things that you might need if you're looking for a very specific image for your scientific presentation. If you're using images a lot from any of these sites, I encourage you to contribute to them either financially or by sharing them with others, and let me know what other image sites you have used for your scientific presentations. Thanks so much for watching. Give this video a like if it's been helpful, and I'll see you later.